This will be fun. All right, here we go.
Did you see my latest Huberger commercial?
Hi, this is Eava, Baca Currenc here, the One Punch entrepreneur, and I'm here with my dear friend Steve Corey. And you know, this is our very first show. Yay! And this is my honored guest. And we've already had all sorts of fun, including internets that broke and came down. So this man jumped into his truck,
Risked my life.
risked his life, speeding in Colorado Springs. Don't tell the police. All the way to get here and to sit next to us so that you can meet a one-punch superstar. So what's a one-punch superstar? A one-punch superstar is someone who has fought for their hopes and their dreams, never gave up, never quit. And so we're going to find out a little bit more about Mr. Steve Corey, what his dreams are, what his hopes are, and the way he's changing the world. Because, you know, one-punch superstars change the world one story at a time. So I could give you this big long spiel, but I would like to play a really quick little video here that tells you who Steve is and what he does.
Here at Victory Service Dogs in February of 2019. And at the time, I was in a very dark place. I had gone through a suicide attempt during that month, and I was looking out for something different besides more medication and more therapy. I've been in one type or another therapy on medication management, inpatient, outpatient, intensive type stuff since 2006 when I was first diagnosed with severe PTSD. And I'm the type of person that will just drive through what I'm going through with because I have more important things to worry about, like people's lives. So I would always put my issues, mostly my mental health issues, on the back burner. But I started developing non-epileptic seizure disorder that was all related to my combat PTSD. There's emotions attached to trauma for all of us that experience trauma, especially combat trauma, but those imprint on our DNA almost. They're in there somewhere and they're trying to heal. And that's why it's really important to have people like Victory Service Dogs, good volunteers, other veterans, family, friends, to say, I need help.
There's 100,000 veterans in our area, and there's really only one other service dog organization in Colorado, up in Denver, and they have a 2 to 3 year waiting list. So that's why we came up with the idea of client-based training that pretty much eliminates a long waiting list.
You have to adapt to your situation, your disabilities, obviously. And we've been able to do that as a cohort, as a team. And the only reason we got there was because of Victory Service Dogs and their commitment to all of us as clients. From the day one, when you meet Steve at Victory and the staff here, you'll be hands down amazed.
Now, that was a little bit out of order. I was going to do that halfway into the interview, but you know, God always knows what's going on. Even, you know, when we have our little slip ups, this is our first show, so nothing's perfect. But
You promised perfect, Eva.
oh well, we are all saved by grace. But anyway, um, this if that didn't bring tears to your eyes, I don't know what will. When I was putting this all together, this show together, I literally at one point found myself bawling. Just the stories. So tell us how this. Okay, I don't have any Kleenex here. Tell us how this all came to be.
I really wanted to build a nonprofit that helped veterans. And when we saw the difference that service dogs make in our veterans' lives almost immediately, it just seemed like a no brainer, something that we could do pretty easily. And starting to meet guys like Dave Marino who were really desperate for help. And he was actually told by another group to come back and see us when you're not suicidal.
No way.
And that just blew me away. I told Dave, get over here as soon as you can. So, I mean, it's really for guys like Dave Marino, Steven Salyer, Bob Center. I mean, there's been hundreds that have reached out to us for help. And we try to make everything as simple as possible, match them with the right dogs, get them into training right away, help them um, help them with the right training that meets their needs, custom training to their needs, and
So
it's
each
worked.
vet is unique.
Yes, each one. Um, a lot of them have similar issues with PTSD, traumatic brain injury, um, multiple tours into Iraq and Afghanistan. Some of them have Purple Heart. Um, yeah, it's common stories, but they're all individually unique.
So what is, according to the Veterans Administration, what is the suicide rate for veterans as a whole?
They're not very good at countings, and it's anywhere from 20 to 27, and it's high in Colorado Springs because we have one of the highest uh, concentration of veterans in the country because of all the military bases that we have. So,
So that's 1 an hour. I
yeah.
mean, think about that, folks. 1 an hour.
Mhm.
So what happens when um, I this is dear to my heart because we have a service dog. My husband was in Keith, as you know, Reverend Keith was in the Gulf War, and we're training up a service dog right now. Now, most vets, what's the average weight if you go through the Veterans Administration for a service dog?
Well, the VA is not going to help you get a dog right now, not in our area. Some
Uh-huh.
areas in the country they will. But the average weight for some of the other organizations is 2 to 3 years.
Wow. So if it's a vet, they're in crisis mode, they need help, they'll get it in 2 to 3 years.
Exactly, and that's where the suicides happen. They
Wow.
become hopeless and
So
nothing's working.
so when somebody a vet comes to you, now it's not just vets, is it?
It's first responders, and we just started a children's program. So,
Wow. Wow. So if someone comes to you and we're in crisis, and when you said a dog is an immediate help, what do you mean?
it just changes their focus from looking at all of their problems to now they have this dog that they have to, um, you know, get through our program, and it's daily work. So they're really, I don't want to say forgetting about all their problems, but their problems kind of go to the back burner, and they can focus on this dog and the training. And what we've seen is that's things for them start to change immediately.
Now, since you started the program, how many suicides have been?
We've had none. We've had no suicides. Over 100 graduates now, and I think every one of our clients will tell you that the dogs in our program have saved their lives.
Well, it's interesting because you and I had a discussion yesterday about our dog and just having that support. And it's a lot of work. Okay, so
Yes.
let me ask you a question. First responder, a child who's going through trauma, a vet, and let's face it, puppies are like having babies. A house has to be puppy proofed. I mean, our little angel, and if you want to know more about, go to hashtag raising angel. She has so far eaten a phone, key dentures. Um, we've now turned that to bring me, which is one of the different
Commands.
commands she'll have to have. So how does that work with somebody who's going through PTSD? They have frontal lobe issues where um, impulse control, and now you have this baby basically when you start out running amok.
So it's not for everybody. Some of our more severely disabled veterans can't do it. And so we either place the puppy with a foster home and get them through the crazy stage
Uh-huh.
until, get them to a point where they can handle the puppy. Or, we make sure that they are capable before we just hand a little monster off to them. We kind of know who's going to be successful and who, you know, we're just not sure. I mean, we were pretty sure with you, but because if you've had a dog before, if you've raised a dog through the puppy stages, then that, usually tells us you know what you're getting yourself into.
Well, I was the trainer for the dog was to be Keith's dog, and I was to be the trainer. And it's amazing how the dog has not only bonded to Keith, but it's bonded to me as the trainer and handler. And so, are you looking for foster families for?
Yes, if you go to our Facebook, you'll see another video where we're asking um, people that have experience raising puppies for help in that area. It can be 2 months, 3 months, um, however long it takes to get the puppy through the puppy stages. And if they're able to bring the puppy to class, that's even better to get them started right.
So understand this, folks. If you are a dog lover and you are a lover of our servicemen and women and first responders who, by the way, we thank you for your service. I know that sounds very cliche, but it's true. We thank you and we want to give back. So if you'd like to give back, this may be a way people can help. What's another way
Mhm.
people can help?
They can go on our website, victorysd.org, and donate. There's other ways that they can volunteer. There's a volunteer page that they can get signed up for on our website. Um,
That sounds wonderful.
yeah.
So, and tell us a little bit about in many places, I've talked to people who say, "Well, I'd like to get a service dog," but the type is there a difference in types of dogs that do you need dogs? I mean, do I have to go out and buy a dog in order for you to
It's,
train me?
we do accept clients that bring their own dog in. That helps speed up the process. Um, but if we meet you and we accept you into the program, we'd really like to help you figure out the best dog for your needs. So it just depends on what your needs are.
Okay, so
We don't encourage people to go get the puppy and then start the process with us, because that sometimes doesn't work. They pick out the wrong dog.
so are there certain dog breeds that are better at being service dogs than others?
It's not always about the breed, it's about temperament. So we put them through a temperament test. Our head trainer does that. So um, there are breeds that we prefer for children, like the um, golden doodle, um, golden retrievers, and there's um not Bernedoodle, but what the sheepadoodle, sheepdog poodle mix have been really a really good choice for kids in our kids program.
And what
So
about a seasoned vet?
a seasoned vet,
One who's going through.
yeah, we'll take a look at anyone's case.
So I if our listeners out here, our viewers, are needing think that this might be a good situation for them, are they going to have to buy a dog?
They don't have to. No, we do get dogs donated, but they might have to wait a little bit.
So
But
what about breeders? So if you're a breeder, if there are any
mhm,
breeders out there, what would you say to
just
breeders out there?
give us a call and we'll talk about what that looks like for us.
So if you get a litter of 10 pups, or a litter of 5 pups, if one of those pups could be donated to Victory Service Dogs, it would go for a really, really, really good cause. Tell me more about the children's program.
So we started that 2 years ago. We started looking at the different issues that kids were having. Autism is huge. We started getting applications for children with needing a seizure alert dog, diabetes alert. Um, so we're able to do some of those. We're still getting started. We're still kind of underfunded to be able to do a lot. We're now getting um, teenagers that are suicidal.
Ah, now
So
that's a big
that
that's a
too in
big
1 week.
number, right? In
Yeah,
Colorado?
it's
How many?
Colorado Springs is the highest. I don't remember what the number was, but it's the highest in Colorado,
Wow.
here in Colorado Springs. So we really want to help in that situation. Um, I think what got us started in all of this was the suicide numbers. So between veterans, first responders, and children, it's just getting out of control. Every
Wow.
time I think it's leveling off,
Uh-huh.
I get 2 or 3 calls in one day.
Wow. What about somebody who's outside of the Colorado Springs or Colorado? Now I know I'm in a training class with people who come, an hour, 2 hours for their training every
Mhm.
week. What about somebody who's not say within driving distance?
We really don't have anything set up
Uh-huh.
for that yet. We'd like to, um, we'd really like to set up our program up in Denver. We're just not there yet. It takes a lot of resources to
So
get
maybe there's
something
a
that's
partner
going.
out there
If
someplace.
there's a partner, that would be great.
Maybe. So what I'm going to do is, you heard the testimony that we started with to begin with. I'm going to run the Victory Service Dogs commercial now, which is backwards of what I planned, but we planned it that way. Shh, don't tell anybody. So we're going to take a 1-minute break, and then we'll be right back. So don't go anywhere. You can put butter on your popcorn while you're waiting. And
Sounds good.
yes, we'll be right back.
I'm Steve Corey, founder and executive director of Victory Service Dogs. Victory Service Dogs is a 501c3 nonprofit. We were started 7 years ago by my wife and I, and we wanted to find a way to give back to our local disabled veterans.
Hello, my name is David Marino. I'm a retired Marine Gunnery Sergeant. I'm here today at Victory Service Dogs with my Golden Retriever, who is my current service dog, Gunner. Gunner's 2.5 years old, and I've had him since he was 10 weeks old.
Here at Victory Service Dogs, we train their owners to train their dogs to be service dogs. So we just facilitate people learning how to become service dog handlers. You can put a little bit of weight on him for a few steps. Hi, my name is Lance Callahar. I've been working at Victory Service Dogs for about 3 years. I've been the head trainer for a year now. And I really love working here because dogs are capable of doing so much good in the world that I'm happy to facilitate a relationship between a psychiatric service dog and a veteran that needs help.
All right. So during the break, Steve was telling me that Lance, the head trainer, actually lives in Denver. We're just looking for some resources,
Yes.
correct? So speaking of resources, are there different, I noticed there are different service type professionals that are also donating time to the organization. What type of a service professional could help your organization?
Well, people that know how to get things done that might be interested in being a board member or helping us with marketing, helping us with a fundraising event. There's many ways. Like Alpine Buick GMC just came to us, and they're going to take the whole month of May and raise funds for us. Every car that they sell, we'll get a percentage back, and that's
Alpine
when
Buick?
that happens. It's really a big deal for us. That's a significant amount of money.
Now, don't you have therapists who are now coming alongside?
We do. We have 2 right now, Amber and Jennifer, that help us with the interviews of both the veteran and children. So
So it's
we're
not
not
something where you
winging it.
just you're winging
we're
it.
not winging it. No.
What about one of the big issues with you were saying autism for children? One of the big issues with vets and first responders is head injuries.
TBI.
So
Yes.
how does that work? How does that help with the TBI?
Well, if they have a TBI, they have usually all of the other issues too. PTSD, they don't want to leave their house. It's really hard for them to interact with their family. Um, they just are kind of hopeless. So getting them out, getting them to our facility, seeing other veterans being successful in our program motivates them to get involved in our program and become successful too.
So for somebody who say is dealing with, because that's a huge issue in our veterans community is the head injuries, which many times involves a lack of focus. And how can a dog help with that?
The focus piece. You actually are going to train the dog to focus on you,
Hmm.
and that can take um, some pretty good amount of time. I mean, you saw how Dave Marino was working with his dog, and he probably worked harder than anyone else that I've seen come through our program. And now he has a perfectly trained service dog, that everything he needed, um, the focus, the blocking, retrieval, um, we were able to give him the skill to really the homework is where you're going to be successful, because the training class is 1 hour a week and you're not going to get everything you need to know in that time, but it's you take that knowledge and you work with your dog at home, when you're taking your dog out into public. That's where the success happens, and that really changes their outlook too. When once they see, hey, this is working, I'm having success training my dog, my battle buddy. Um, that really that really does a lot for them. It's very therapeutical.
So there are different types of dogs that you train. What are those
Mhm.
different types?
Different types. If you saw the commercial, there's we've had a couple. We've had several greyhounds. We've had the little Aussies. Um, Lots of golden doodles. We've had some successful shepherds in the program, labs.
Now, is there a
So
difference between a therapy dog and a service dog?
therapy dog is doesn't carry the same certification. You can't take a therapy dog anywhere you want to. Service dog is fully covered by the ADA, and you're you're allowed by law to take your service dog on flights, restaurants, hospitals, courtrooms, wherever, really wherever you need to.
Now, I know that there has been a problem with some of the airlines because everybody wants to, go to Amazon, get a service dog, get a
We get that all the time.
right. So, what is the difference between what makes a service dog different?
The training, they have to have the training, and you can really tell, if we see it in Walmart, you go
Mhm.
in there and someone has a dog, a pet, and they're just barking and pulling their owner on the leash, and it's bad behavior, and that just doesn't work as a service dog. There's
So, what qualifies a service dog
so
according to
with
ADA?
a fully trained service dog, um, we use the AKC, American Kennel Club, all of their testing. So we really put them through a lot of testing before we sign off on them. That's our best calling card. Um, Anybody can get a certification, that, but the best calling card is a perfectly trained dog, and that's what we're looking for, and we don't fudge on that.
No, you don't fudge. I can guarantee
Every now
that.
and then I get someone that wants us to fudge on it, but
But
that's our name on that dog.
so I was told that um, a service dog should be able to do three things that an owner can't do for
3
themselves.
tasks. Yep.
What kind of tasks would those be?
There's many tasks. One of them, a big one, is alerting. So if you're getting ready to have a seizure, your dog can actually alert to that.
Wow.
So, depending on how you want the dog to be trained to alert, either barking or putting their paws on you or resting their head on your lap is what a lot of our clients choose to alert to whatever seizure might be coming
Mm-hmm.
up. We have a dog, Buster, that alerts to his handler when she's getting ready to have a migraine.
They
So
can tell when the
that's,
migraine's coming.
yeah, yeah.
Wow.
Not every dog, but some. It's they have like an innate sense of what's going on with you.
So, in my very first class that I was in, I had um, a vet, I believe she was Navy, who was having um, issues with mobility.
Yeah.
And we went over there one day, and she was just so thankful and crying because she was in a new home and she'd moved in and had overdone it. And she couldn't get up the stairs by herself.
Mhm.
And the dog was, I mean, only a puppy,
Right.
and helped her get all the way up the stairs.
Navigate the stairs. Yeah.
And it was, in other words, I'm going to have to get Kleenex for this show. I've decided. So if somebody remind me that we have to get Kleenex, but tell, so tell me a little bit more about what it took to get started, because One Punch Superstars is about when I talk to entrepreneurs, when I talk to um, people who are dealing with nonprofits, because nonprofit usually means
No
no
money.
money. So, what are
Too little money.
some of the issues that came up, and what drives you to keep going? Because I know that being a nonprofit, this has been I've watched you since you started. So,
Yeah.
what was the motivation to just do it?
Really, um, years ago during the wars and hearing about our veterans losing limbs and being permanently disabled, I told myself back then I wanted to do something to help those guys. And when this opportunity came up, it just seemed like a great solution. I like dogs. I like working with dogs, and the number of suicides, I just that was just ridiculous to me. That in a country with the resources that we have, that we can't do a better job. So I didn't have a lot of money to start it, so we just came up with a plan that used local trainers that already had their own successful businesses. So we didn't have to have employees, as most business owners know. That's a huge expense, is trying to have employees and all the taxes that go along with that. Um, and it worked. We had some really good trainers at the beginning, and some not so good trainers that we figured out what was going to work for our program. And um, yeah, I mean, when we started bringing people on like Lance, who has 12 years of experience in dog training, um, and he's also a veteran. So tried to build the program, heavily with veterans and people that cared about helping veterans, and we've grown that way.
So, what motivates you to keep tell me some of the stories, some why I mean, I know that this has been a difficult journey for you.
Mhm.
You have paid the price both financially in relationships. Why? Why do you keep going?
I want to make a difference in people's lives. When they tell me that our program saved their life, I mean that I guess that does it for me. I mean that's the why.
Tell me about some of your more memorable successes.
I always think of Steven Salyer because practically every time I see him, he tells me I wouldn't be here if it wasn't for this program. And he just is always there when we need a volunteer. He's always giving back. And that just helps us become a family. And that's what I wanted. Um, I didn't want to just push people through our program. I wanted to build a family atmosphere, and veterans that go through our program would come back and want to give back and help support us, volunteer, um, join the program at some point. As a trainer, we have several veterans right now that are in our Train the Trainer program, so they're giving back that way. I just felt like God gave me a vision early on as to how it was all going to work. And I've tried to stick to that plan.
Wow.
And when I've diverted away from those original ideas, it didn't work.
So this is not only this is a ministry for you.
It is.
And
Yes.
I know. Tell us about the some of the additional activities. The one thing that I found was, again, brought me to tears the first week or two, was being in a class with other people who understood the challenges.
Mhm.
Um, my husband is a Gulf War vet, or contractor, and embedded, and to tell someone or the trainer, well, we're having this issue, and go, oh, we can help you with that.
Right. That's huge.
I mean,
That's what we want.
tell us about
That's life changing, isn't it?
It
Yeah.
is. It's like, I'm not crazy.
Mhm.
Well, I am a little bit, but that's okay. If we just for the sake of God, but tell us about some of the other, not only are you dealing with dogs and training and companionship, and some of the psychological issues, but tell us about some of your rafting programs, and the other programs you have.
So that's one of the alliances we have is with River Deep, and they're out of Denver. And Bob Adwar puts on a lot of programs that are no charge to our veterans. So we can't provide all that, but we're aligned with that organization, and they have some amazing trips. We we were able to take one of their balloon rides a couple summers ago, and they have fly fishing trips, um, all different kinds of hunting trips, and it just encourages the veteran camaraderie to get out, enjoy nature, and a lot of our veterans have taken advantage of that.
I have one of my really good friends, Joy, who you will meet, who is going to be on here, a retired corpsman, Joy Roan, and she said the hardest thing for her when she got out of the service was the community.
Right.
And so, how do you help with that?
That's a tough one. I'm trying to get aligned with like next chapter. I'm sure people have seen that ad on TV over and over again. Next chapter is out of Mount Carmel
Hmm.
Veterans Services, and they help with a lot of other veteran programs that we can't provide, but we can collaborate with them. And so we just became partners
Oh,
with them.
wow. That's a great.
Yeah.
So if you're out there and you have a service or a program that you think would be beneficial, and collaborate, they can get a
hmm
hold of you.
Yes.
And
Yeah. I'm willing to take a look at what you have to offer, and if that aligns with our mission, then that would be awesome.
do you have any other stories you'd like to share?
I just enjoy seeing a steady stream of our veterans that come through, and they want to show off their dog, show off their training. And, I know how they started. A lot of them, it was really difficult to get started and go through the puppy stage. And there's different points where they might have felt like this isn't working. I want to quit, but they keep at it. And now to see their success and how the dog helps them, I mean, that just gives me joy that I'm doing the right thing. This is our program works.
It definitely,
Mhm.
definitely works. So if you have, so you'll take cash. Always works. Cash is good. Um, Donating time, donating services. If you're a therapist or if you have, um, I just noticed we can. There's a yoga. Um,
Friday mornings.
Friday morning yoga. If you're if you're a part of um, my my other business, Eva Currenc Global, we are no, the Wellness Pro. If you have a wellness system that you would like to share with and work with Victory Service Dogs, um, give Steve a call.
Absolutely.
And we will have information here at the end of the program. And is there anything else you would like people to know about?
I'm just grateful for this opportunity and the interview, and I think I've used up all my words. So.
And that's great because, like I said, we had internet problems, and it was like, get in the car, get down here, because we are not going to let this is going to happen no matter what. So, if you have now, what we're going to do is I'm going to see if we have any questions coming in from our Facebook. Well, actually, I'm not quite sure how to do that yet. So so this is family time. This is a family show. This is all about changing the world one story at a time. So hopefully tomorrow we'll be able to do that. But Victory Service Dogs is a wonderful, wonderful association. If you ask our little angel, she will tell you, because she's my co-host today, but we don't let her in here because she's only passed the good, what is it? Good,
The puppy,
yeah, good diet. She's a good puppy.
the puppy certification. I don't remember what they call them.
Yeah, she's a puppy certified, but she's going for her first certification with Lance. And
You're starting to get into more of the behavioral
yes,
classes.
and it's wonderful. She's doing fantastic. So I'm sorry. I wanted to ask during this time. We wanted to have people ask questions, but that's not going to happen. So anyway, so if you want to know more, we're going to let's see here. Victory Service Dogs. You can actually take that QR code, give you donations, give you information, victoryservicedogs.org. And then
We're on Facebook also.
on
You can see more of the events and things that are happening.
wonderful. We'd love to have you get involved. And then make sure that you stay tuned for our next program, which will be tomorrow, Wednesday. Another friend of yours, Christina Albert with Creed Studios, who is one of our sponsors, and she was a junk bonds trader turned fine artist. How does this person do that?
Talent.
Yes, you have to know Christina. So she'll be our guest tomorrow. So make sure that you get your lunch on tomorrow and be inspired. And let's go out and change the world one story at a time. And thank you, Steve
Thank you,
Corey.
Eva.
Thank you, Victory Service Dogs. And we will see you tomorrow at noon Mountain Standard Time, 11 Pacific Standard Time. And thank you so much for being a part of our show and being a one punch entrepreneur and or one punch superstar. And if you have a story, send it in. If you have a video of an inspiring video of your overcoming or a fun, cute dog story of overcoming, please send it in. And we're going to have a quarterly special, and we're going to see your stories and share those with the world. So thank you for joining in.
Thank you.
You're
Appreciate everybody.
Okay, bye-bye now.
That's cool. So how do you get comments?
Yeah, but there's not.